you, ladies and gentlemen. I applaud you, Ingram, for saying what you say tonight. Like he said, we're in the same church, and it happens we have the same Monsignor. The other time I was in church, he said, I'm going to pray for both of you. I didn't know both of you are running for mayor, and I was like, I don't even know this Ingram because I've never seen him over there. Because of the time, you know, we have time difference and all that. So that's a good thing. You told me that tonight. I didn't know. Yeah,
it's a big church.
It's a big church. Yeah, St. Thomas More. My friend Tembo was there before. Yeah, but you know, the reason why we're running for mayor, I think, myself, I've been here for 25 years. I was born in Africa, in Zimbabwe, and I came here in 1994. That's when I came over here. When I came over here, the only party I knew was Democrat. It was the Democrat Party. When you land at the airport, when you come in here, your friends, your people you meet in school, I went to college, they told me the party you have to join is the Democratic Party. And that's exactly what I did. I followed suit like everybody else. I'm not going to go back because it's going to take a whole lot of time to talk about my history. But when I was here, I decided to work with Poloski during his last 2 terms when he won the elections. I was one of his right-hand men, working with him, moving his office around. I helped him move his office from 12th and Hamilton to Wells Fargo building. It was me who did it. That time I was the vice president of the African community on the east extension of the United States of America. So I did a lot for him. And being with him for 2 terms, I saw that nothing is happening in Allentown. I'm in the streets with him. I'm talking to people maybe by myself. Nothing is going on. There's no jobs. There's no better housing for everybody. The crime rate right now, as he said, is increasing. Every day, every week, we wake up in the morning, we hear there's a crime. And it disturbs me, it disturbs you guys, it disturbs Ingram. That's why we need this town to be changed. And we need it to be done right away. There's no way, we cannot be playing politics with the people of Allentown. I mean, these guys, we are here, me and Ingram, and I appreciate that because we are the 2 of us here. They refused to come to this debate, of which I talked to you. I was expecting them to be here, so that we can line up and discuss about the issues of Allentown. But they decided not to come. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe we are minor, maybe we are inferior, maybe we are minority, I don't know. But if they were here, that would be nice because all of us would be given a chance to say what they need to talk about Allentown.
I just wanted to say something that I think the only thing you deduce from them not being here is that they have a disdain for open government and for an informed electorate. I think you have to say that's their reason.
Thank you. And going further, as you can see, Allentown right now, we have a lot of people. I've been walking in the streets and all that. There is no jobs. That's my #1 reason of running to be a mayor. I've seen Allentown. When I came here, Allentown was so great. I'm telling you the truth. When I came here, when Hyde was the mayor, I saw there was a mall right here in Allentown, in Hamilton. And that was my first mall I visited when I came over here. It was so nice. There was a lot of jobs and everything. They took it out. I don't know for what reason. But walking in the streets, I hear people talking about jobs. That's my #1 concern. That's why I'm running for me. #1 concern, we need to bring jobs here in Allentown. And what I'm going to do, bring jobs here will bring us more revenue. When you bring jobs, you get more taxation, you have people paying taxes, and then you can transfer those taxes to other developments. You can bring those taxes to building other structures where you can also, you know, get people to be in rehab, to be in access to healthcare or school or whatever, because that tax money is working towards better things than what they're doing now. The current government right now, city government, they've been there for 12 years. Poloski has been there for 3 terms. But I'm going to tell you one thing, it has been 12 years of disaster. And that I know. Everybody I talked to in Allentown, they told me it's disastrous. There's nothing going on in Allentown. People are suffering. We have more people in the streets sleeping under the bridges. They don't have jobs. They talk to Poloski promises all these things he wants to do. The only time he promises jobs and everything else is towards the election. Once the election is over, he forgets about everything else. It's all about himself. Same with Ingram. That's the same way he's doing.
You mean Ingram or Hyman?
No, Hyman. Sorry, Hyman.
I thought we were going to have a fight here or
it's
something.
good, it's over, yeah. Hyman is the same thing as a Republican. Hyman owns 1 million square feet of buildings in Allentown. He's not doing anything about those buildings. When I read the paper, what he's talking about is just building apartments, which is going to benefit him. It's not going to benefit the people of Allentown. Those apartments are going to bring revenue to him. The only people he's going to employ is maybe a manager and 2 other people, 3 other people to run those apartments. Those buildings, I know he's got money to buy them. If it was me, those buildings he has, the one, for example, one on 4th and Hamilton at the bus terminal. When I came here, that building has been there for over 24 years. Nothing, I've seen nothing, no development on that building. That building could be meant to be an industrial building. You bring jobs to the people, you bring a manufacturing company, or you bring something. But he's talking, when I read the newspaper 2 weeks ago, I was confused. I was like, this guy is out of his mind. Why is he just building apartments, thinking about the lofts and all that? This building has to be built, bring it back to a factory. We have a Chinese company which just came here. All right? They're manufacturing straws to drink in the cup. They're manufacturing straws. They've employed more than 100 people. Why do we have to have Chinese do that instead of us? We have buildings here. Why can't you make those buildings to employ our own people so that they can have a better life? Why are you building all these apartments? For what reason? Why? Let's have these buildings. There's a lot of land. Like what he said, we have 127 acres in Allentown, NIZ zone. Though, if we can bring apartments, why can't we build like buildings structures which can give our own people better jobs? Once you get better jobs, now you can support your businesses on Hamilton. We have a lot of bars and restaurants closing in less than 6 months on Hamilton. I can tell you, Schuler's closed, the Rose is closing, because there's no support. There's no money now. People don't have money. All these buildings, the structures they're building, is people who are renting those buildings are coming from New Jersey, from Philadelphia, from New York. And those people, once they come here, they stay here, where are they spending their money? They're spending their money in New York because they work in New York, they go to New York, they spend their money in New York, lunch, dinner, whatever. When they come here, they're tired, they can't even support their own buildings. So what we need to do is, number one, let's give our own people jobs. That's the number one thing we can do. Once we give them jobs, then we'll be able to sustain our businesses in Allentown. We'll be able to enjoy a better lunch. We'll be able to feed our families. We'll be able to do everything. Number two, crime. All of you here are going to agree with me. Crime is at an increase. Every day we hear about crime. What are we doing about crime? We have enough police officers. We have more than 200 police officers, 55 cars, cameras, body hand cameras. We have all that. But are we helping the police? The police is doing enough, but they can't do more because, you know, it's like everywhere. These things happen inside the houses. Once they get outside in the street, they explode. So we need to talk to the neighborhood. We need to involve the people in the Allentown to talk about crime. We need to involve the people, the parents, all the stakeholders in Allentown. Let's talk about crime. Give us ideas. What's going on? The roots, where is it coming from? Then that way we can help the police. The police is doing so much, I'm telling you the truth. But what we need to do is maybe, I told you when you watch me on Channel 69, I talked about all the people who are affiliated with drugs, whether it's the drug dealers or the ones who are doing drugs, the ones who are buying drugs or whatever. Let's give them an opportunity. Turn themselves in. Turn themselves in and say, hey, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. Because most of these people I talk to in Allentown when I walk in the streets, they're telling me they're doing this because they don't have money to feed their kids. One guy I talked to, he said he got 2 kids in his house. He doesn't have a job. Every time he tries to look for a job, he can't get a job because he has a felony or he has some other, criminal background. We need to change those laws also. That's one thing we need to do. Once we tell these people, we exchange, if they turn themselves in, we exchange them with rehab, We give them job placements, training, and then at the end of the day, we give them jobs. They will come in. They told me that. I've spoken to 3, 4 people. They told me, I would love to have a job, but I can not have a job because of my criminal background. The Allentown has failed. It's not giving me the opportunity to do that. And it's true, they're not giving them the opportunity. They are there for themselves. Poloski is not here tonight. He refused to come. Heyman is not here tonight. He refused to come. They know what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. I don't have to mention that. It's in the newspaper and everything. They should be here talking to me and Ingram right here, debating with us and telling us what they can do for Allentown. I'm telling you the truth. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Heyman has been here. Heyman has a lot of buildings in Allentown. All the buildings I know, I can mention even 3, 4. He hasn't developed those buildings for the past 20 years I've been here. What better is he going to do for Allentown if he can't develop those buildings? Tell me, what can he do? He cannot. He's just promising. The other time I was watching him on TV when I went to, he said, well, I'm going to have a cup of tea and there's some lunch. We thought, you cannot do that over. Why? You putting lunch and tea in front of the problems we have in Allentown? No. During my time in office, we're not going to have lunch. You're going to be serious. You're going to come to my office, or I'm going to come to your office and talk about it. Number 3, school district. We have a lot of kids being left behind. We don't have transportation. The kids are not getting buses to school. Allentown is like, Bethlehem is even better than us. We need to improve our bus system. I've been talking to a lot of parents. They've been texting me on WhatsApp. They've been texting me on Facebook. We don't have buses. We need buses to take back and forth the kids to go to school. A lot of parents are missing their jobs. Sometimes they even get fired. Sometimes they're even late for work because they want to see that the kids go back to school first before they even go to work. They wait for this. They try to get kids to go to the schools. They have to, if they don't have a car, they have to call a neighbor. They have to call a friend. If the friend says no, then they got no transportation to go to. We need transportation to take those kids to school. Jobs, going back, one thing I forgot. We have industries in, in Sukin Valley or maybe in Makanji or whatever. We have people like FedEx. We have companies like FedEx. They're helping us with jobs in Allentown. But the buses are not giving the privilege of people going to jobs and coming back. For instance, right now the bus starts here in Allentown at 6:30 in the morning. And the jobs in the industry, they come in, that is 6 o'clock. And they finish, the buses end up at 12 midnight. And then the jobs end up at 12:30 midnight. So where are they going to get transportation to come back to Allentown and all that? All those issues, we need to put them together and work a system where we can develop a transportation system which can help our community in Allentown to help those situations. The jobs we have right now, let's take care of that jobs. But we need to build more jobs in Allentown. We need to bring factories here. Like I said, the Chinese are coming in. We have to do it ourselves. Those people who own properties, let us build structures which can give jobs rather than doing it for yourself, because you just want to build an apartment which you're going to get money by yourself, but you're not doing it for the people. That's one reason why Poloski, he doesn't want to come here. Well, he has his own thing. I'm not going to mention much about him, but he's been there for 12 years. He's been there for 12 years. Why does he need another 4 years? He hasn't done anything for the people of Allentown. He hasn't done anything for the people of Allentown. He's just a shrewd guy. He's not good. He's not a good leader. Personally, I'm not running because I was talking to some other people. I'm not running because of what he did to me. I'll give a good example. Poloski, I had a business on 8th Street in Allentown. Myself, when he was building this arena, okay, I had a tax business. He approached another lady who had the same business I was doing, the other opposite side of the street. And he offered, the lady didn't want to sell that business. And that time I was in hospital, I had cancer. I was suffering. My brother was running my business, and I had cancer. I was going through chemotherapy and radiation. He gave that business, my business, to that lady. He offered 600 and something thousand to that lady and said, I want you to buy Solomon out. I'll tell the landlord, which was City Line, to buy him off, and then you can take that building. And he did it. I lost building. I was given 2 weeks to move out of that building. My brother did it whilst I was in hospital, and we didn't have anywhere to move the furniture and everything. That's how shrewd he is. Right now he's going to minority, he's going to Hispanic people, he's going to Africans, he's going to everybody, giving them these little offices, a building which he doesn't own. Anybody, the owner of that building can sell that building anytime, and these guys will be left with nothing. I'm appealing to you, my people, Allentown, Spanish, whatever you are, look straight and see what he's doing. This guy is not good. He's not doing, you can see he's got 54 counts. And the good thing is that the right thing he has to do now is just to maintain and maybe spend more time with the defense counsel. Because I don't see him winning 54 counts, to be honest with you. I don't see that. That's a lot. And you're dealing with FBI. You're not dealing with Allentown police or what. This is FBI. I don't see you winning all those 54 counts. He's just in denial. And I want to say to you, I want you, Allentown people, I want you to look and think. If you vote for Pulaski right now, if he wins, and then in January, February, March, he's found guilty, then what next? We don't have a mayor in Allentown. It's just a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of taxpayers' money, and a waste of everything. It's not good. Today, this is the time to get a new leader into Allentown. A leader who doesn't have any affiliations to any crime or whatever. We know that. Let's get somebody who can run Allentown independently. Like me and him, we are independent. Let's get somebody who can look at the people, what they need, and talk to the people and move along. Do everything for the people rather than do it for yourself. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
I want to thank both these gentlemen for being here. This is the kind of thing that Mayor Pulaski and Mr. Hyman don't want to do because they don't want to discuss substance. We're discussing substance tonight. I think it's a very good thing. I believe we have some politicians in the audience, some political candidates, some activists. Julio, I think you're the senior political person here. Do you have a question you want to ask? Pulaski and Hyman are empty seats, so is O'Connell. You can ask questions of them, you can ask questions of anybody you want. Would you like to ask the question to start us off?
Sure. Thank you, Robert. I wasn't thinking about asking a question, but
I put you on the spot.
quick question in regards to, let's see, how will you deal with city council, and if you were not to win, okay, what will you do in the city? How will you continue your life?
I'm not sure I heard all of that question.
Well, let me explain a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that was a little invasive amount. In regards to city council, there's this issue with city council right now. The mayor and the city council don't get along very well for obvious reasons. But I'm probably one of the few, if not the only one, that if I have a question, I call him regardless of what's going on. But I'm not there for myself, I'm there for the citizens. And if I need to help a citizen, I need to call the mayor, I will call the mayor and talk to him. But as you know, the mayor and city council are still at odds. And I think one of the things that happened is that the mayor indicated, he promised that he would go to city council meetings, and he hardly goes to city council meetings. So that's one of the problems that we have. Do you promise that you will go to city council meetings and speak with council, and how would you handle if there's any discourse?
Well, Julio, were you here when I talked about that part? Were you here?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, okay. Well, number one, Julio, I'm going to eliminate the managing director position. I'm going to be my own managing director as mayor. All the department heads will report directly to me. I will report directly to city council. I will attend all the city council meetings and represent the mayor, the 800 employees of the city of Allentown at the city council meetings. There will be no need for a managing director because, as you know, I believe Ed Pulaski created that position 12 years ago when he first came in. Well, I'm going to eliminate it. There's no need for it. That's going to save the city $130,000 in base salary plus what? Another $70,000 in benefits. $200,000 a year. That'll save the city right off the top. There's nothing like, I'm gonna make sure all the department heads are also accountable for each of their departments, but they will report directly to me, and I will be accountable to you and City Council, and that's just the way it's going to work. I might even bring department heads with me to City Council meetings if the issues or the subject matter or the bills that are presented need to be addressed at any given meeting. I will bring those department heads with me, all right, as the experts in those particular matters. But no, they will report directly to me. I'm going to also make sure that upper level management in the city. I mentioned the whole idea where you have a department head and you have assistant department heads, or deputy department heads, or whatever it might be. You might have 2 or 3 of them. Well, I'm going to make sure that every department head is qualified professionally and/or in terms of experience to carry out the duties of the department head, and to be knowledgeable and professionally knowledgeable in that area of that department. There might be an opportunity to consolidate certain things. Maybe there's overlap, redundancy going on. I don't really know. I have to look at the budget. I have to look at the organization chart. One example, by the way, you have the Department of Community and Economic Development that includes all the health services. That might be a situation where health services should be treated as its own thing. Community and Economic Development it covers a lot of areas, but I don't know if it necessarily has to include health services. Anyway, it would be much smoother, the operation. I would be talking to you on the phone or meeting with you in person and all the other city council members in between each meeting. There will be no surprises at the city council meetings. The main purpose for the city council meetings would be to present what we already know, what we've already worked out together, finding common ground to get things done, all right? Even if we disagree on certain issues, everybody will know where each other stands. There won't be any grandstanding at the city council meetings. The main purpose of those city council meetings is for public input on those issues and on the bills that are being presented. We already know, we will already have everything worked out, studied, and we will be coming up with solutions and recommendations, and that'll all be worked out in between the meetings. The meetings will be a formality in terms of the mayor's office and city council. The public input is important, and that's the main purpose for those public city council meetings, right? Okay. So I would be on a first-name basis with you and all the other city council members, and I would have an open door. You can come in any time, and hopefully I could, and vice versa, right, Julio?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Julio, for that question. It's a very great question. You know, every city, every company, if you're CEO or whatever, you have to have a code of ethics. I mean, the mayor has to be in every meeting. If you love your people, if you love your city, if you love Allentown, you have to be in the meetings with your councillors. Because you guys make up the team. Me and you make up the team. We have to agree, we have to disagree, but I have to be participating with you guys. We have to be all involved. So I'll make sure I'll be in every meeting. Every meeting you have, I have to be there, because that's my love for the city. Because we want to build the city together. If I'm not in the meeting with you guys, then I'm missing something. I have to be there. That's what's going on now, because there's no ethics. That's why you see the mayor is in problems, because he's doing his own thing. He's running the city by himself without getting you involved. I remember last year you were running the budget, you disagreed with the mayor. I mean, the mayor wanted his own 1.1 million, whatever, and you wanted to. There's no agreement with the mayor. So if I'm the mayor of Allentown, if you choose me on November 7th to be in Allentown, I make sure I'm a team player. That's one greatest things one can ever do. If you love your city, you have to be a team player. I have to work with everybody in the team. So generally, you know, once you do that, then we can take all the problems on the table. We invite investors, we talk and everything. Everything will be smooth and running like what he's saying. We have to be smooth. I mean, if there's anything, we have to have a diligence is number one. Diligence is number one. We have to respect that. Everybody in the city, whether you're a councilman, you're a mayor, you're a director, you have to respect the city council and you have to respect Allentown. One thing also he said, I'm going to eliminate the same thing. I'm not copying, but I'm going to eliminate that position as director. Everybody, you have to report to me. Everybody, we have to talk together. That position is nothing. I mean, you're just wasting money for that position. There's no need for that position. Because I'm there in the city council, why do we have that position? I have to be there with you and talk to you one-on-one. Whether it's phone calls, whether it's there, we have to talk one-on-one and deliver the goals we need for Allentown and make Allentown a better place for everybody. Thank you.
Do we have any other politicians?
No, I'm not a politician.
Are you an activist?
Yes, I am.
Okay, introduce yourself and ask a question.
My name is Rigo Peralta. I'm an artist. I have a studio right on Linden Street. I'm a businessman in the city. And, you know, with all the development that's going on in the city, my question is, what is your strategy to take this forward? And my other question is that if there is any way that you guys are thinking about embrace not the whole community and make them as a one community and work together, because it's being divided. Allentown is being too divided. And I think those are my questions.
I have a couple ideas.
Oh, and yes, to finish, I'm sorry.
Sure.
And I would like you to explain to me the administration experience that you guys have to administrate a city like Allentown.
Administrative experience.
Yeah, he wasn't here for the
Well, I think I alluded earlier to the whole idea that I agree with the whole team, the team player aspect, working as a team, working with the police chief in terms of, I'm a strong advocate of, of neighborhood bonding with neighborhood police. In other words, police officers walking in pairs down the street and talking to the neighbors in that particular neighborhood on a first name. They're getting to know each other on a first name basis in both directions. So that the residents in those, especially the inner city neighborhoods, have a much better comfort level in communicating, volunteering information to the police, information that needs to be known, particularly when it comes to drug gangs and drug-related crime, the opioid problem, and I think that needs to be enhanced. I also think there need to be more bilingual officers in the police department. Progress has been made in that area, but I think there need to be more. I actually thought of an idea a number of years ago. I don't know if anybody ever worked on it, but the cost of living in the Lehigh Valley is a lot lower than New York City, especially housing, obviously. Why not employ, hire or recruit a number of bilingual police officers from New York City who've had experience in these types of neighborhoods in New York City, who would be glad to come here with a lower cost of housing. That's an idea, especially Hispanic and African American police officers who've had that kind of experience. Now, another idea I have pertains to the youth and education. It's all together. It all comes together. It's all related. Working with the police chief, working with the school board. I have an idea. Actually, my wife came up with this idea, and that is, why not have a school, part-time school, voluntary, part-time school for maybe one evening a week, or on an hour on a Saturday or something like that each Saturday. A school of etiquette, class, and discipline. It would start at a young age. It would be voluntary. Transportation would be provided. It could be at the existing schools, working with a school district on a part-time basis, or it could be space that was either donated or rented to the city, and the adults who would teach it would be volunteers. It would not cost the city anything. And this kind of thing would give those kids, especially at a young age, as they grow up, as they mature, give them the confidence as they mature to deal with adults, to deal with potential employers in interview situations, to have manners that matter, you know, everywhere they go. And I think the kids would love it. The parents probably are going to have mixed reaction for understandable reasons. The grandparents would love it. So it's just a matter of maybe coming up with that kind of, I think that would do wonders, because that kind of thing is not taught in the public schools during the regular course of the day. It's just an idea, all right? But that would help in those troubled neighborhoods, those high-risk neighborhoods. Hey, look at, everybody look at Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, the all-star running back for Penn State who went to Whitehall High School. His father historically had a very troubled life, and this kid, you know, comes along. He's a star, but he's also a very humble kid. It's not all about him. It's about the team. It's about teamwork. He's a very humble kid. I noticed that when he's interviewed after he runs for 200 yards for Penn State, you know, first thing that comes out of his mouth is, I could have done better. This is the kind of guy he is. I could have done better. And we need more people like that. If you have people who think that way, are not so much into themselves, but are, you know, humble and are team players and are striving to do better, it comes from the heart. And this kid came from a troubled parental background, and he grew up with that, and he came out of that. We need to have thousands of kids like that coming out of that, and they will. And that's just one program that might help. That's just one program, just one idea. We could come up with all kinds of ideas. Working with the school district, working with Dr. Parker, the new school superintendent, who seems to be a very approachable, sensible guy. It's coming up with innovative ideas to do these things. In fact, I just went to the education conference last week, where we had the Secretary of Education there, Mr. I guess it's Dr. Rivera. I'm not sure if he's a PhD or whatever, but both presentations were excellent. Dr. Rivera's presentation at the conference was excellent, as was Dr. Parker's, and I was impressed. And they even talked about this whole thing about the Pennsylvania standardized test, which everybody complains about. It's totally useless, but they're required to do it. But the fact of the matter is, colleges and universities don't even pay attention to the Pennsylvania standardized test when these kids are applying for college and university. The only things that matter are the grades. The SAT test matters, not the Pennsylvania standardized test. And of course, the overall well-roundedness of the student himself, extracurricular activities, and all the rest of it. But why don't we just do away with the Pennsylvania standard? What good is it? If you want to teach to a test, teach to the SAT. Don't teach to a Pennsylvania standardized test, which nobody recognizes, nobody uses at the higher level. So anyway, those are ideas. They are working on that way. They're going to put less emphasis on teaching to the test, which is very good. They need to teach, not teach the test. All right?
Thank you. I applaud your question. Now we're in the digital era. Everything is digital now. The kids, talking about school, I think we have to play more emphasis on doing science, math, technical, subjects in school, because we know we are faced with this job creation. We don't have jobs. If we emphasize more on those science, technical, classes and all that, those kids who can come out of college, because you were talking about business, they can be able to start their own business if they can't find a job. Because technical, You can get an office, you can get a building, and then you can start your own IT job or whatever, work for big companies like AT&T or contract yourself. I think that's one thing we need to emphasize on school. Because we see there's a lot of dropouts in school. Some of the kids, they don't want to go there, talk about geography. I mean, we're in America. I mean, they don't want to know anything about Africa. They want to know anything about, they want to know, something which is here. So what we need to do is emphasize on those technical classes and science and IT jobs and all that. That's what we need to do. Now, talking about the NIZ covers, like what Ingram says, 127 acres of Allentown. It's just here downtown and the riverfront. Riverfront is about 27 acres, 27,000 acres or something like that. We need to expand. We need to go to other areas. Allentown is huge. We cannot just concentrate on this area. We need to diversify and go elsewhere. Go south side, go east, go west, go north, and construct those buildings which can give our kids and our parents better employment. That way, we can get everybody will get a paycheck at the end of the day. That's what I've been talking about, jobs, jobs, jobs everywhere. Because if we don't do that, because right now we're just concentrating here. For instance, I always talk about that. The apartments they're building, not Allentownians are living in those apartments. These are people who are coming from New York, New Jersey. They're just here, spending their money, paying the landlords. The landlords are the ones who are benefiting. We are not benefiting as Allentownians. We're not. They're not creating jobs for us, but the landlords are benefiting. So we need to do something which can benefit our residents. And that's the #1 goal we should do, especially jobs. Thank you.
Just want to add something. I know something about what's going on with the rental housing. The reason why so much of it is being built, and it's all rental, and no condominiums and that sort of thing, is because the banking industry and lenders today are throwing money at developers to build apartments. The money is easy. The way they look at these things, the values and the prices are going through the roof. It's hard to explain, but even with the same income, let's put it this way, the same income coming in on the rentals, the rentals are going up dramatically every year, by the way. But even if you kept the rent the same, the values are going up because there's something called a cap rate that's applied to the net operating income. And when that cap rate goes down dramatically, those values go up. That's what these developers and owners have been taking advantage of. They have no desire to convert to condominiums or build condominiums. And the problem with there are a number of problems with condominiums. Number one, the lenders don't want to loan on it because they're concerned about the absorption, the sellout, how long it's going to take, whether they can sell them all out or not. And you compound that with the millennial generation. I'm generalizing now. Most of the millennial generation is saddled with student loan debt, or has bad credit, or is spending all of its money. They don't have good credit. They can't get a mortgage. That's the bottom line. Most of them cannot get a mortgage. So that demand isn't there yet. That's going to change. That'll change in a number of years. When we get into the 20s, that millennial demand will go up when those millennials start finally marrying and having children, which they're not doing, and deciding they need to own rather than rent. Okay? So the market's not there yet. The lenders are not cooperating for condos and owner-occupied. They're throwing money at developers to build apartments, and that's been going on for a number of years. That will change, but the market isn't there yet. So, but I'll be an advocate. I'll be an advocate of owner-occupied housing, definitely. And so I just want